Hello, good evening, and welcome to round 35 of the Teamwork Racing 2020 Championship. We're at KY2, Kyoto National, in the FO8 tonight for a 16-minute qualifying session and two 13-lap races. I'm joined in the commentary box by Jack Eyre. Hi, Jack.
Hello, how is everybody? Hope you're well, and thanks for tuning in.
Indeed. Around about 3 minutes or so, I think, before we get going for the start of qualifying. So yeah, Kyoto 2, we've been to Kyoto plenty of times in the championship so far. We've got 10 rounds, including this one left of the 2020 season. So we really are getting into the meat of the sandwich right now. And we should go down the team and driver standings, Jack, so we can bring everyone up to speed with where everyone sits in the championship with so few rounds remaining. So let's get those done. In the drivers' championship, we've got who've we got at the top? Is he going to tell me? Apologies. It's not showing them for some reason. Okie dokie. Apologies for
Of
this.
course, a little bit about the combination today. We're in the FO8, the Formula V8, mid-engined rear-wheel drive, and it's got a 3-litre naturally aspirated V8 engine, kicking out a whopping 450 brake horsepower. But not only is it, quite punchy when it comes to just actual grunt, it revs out significantly higher than the majority of cars on the lift speed platform. But as well, 600 kilograms is the curb weight of this vehicle. So 559 brake horsepower. Oh, sorry, no, 762 brake horsepower per ton. It's the metric
Yeah.
power to weight I'm looking at.
Apologies for not having the standings ready, but I do now. Just before we get going for qualifying, we'll run through those. Here we go then. In the Drivers' Championship, Kevin Peat for Teamwork Racing leads the way with 2.3k points. Just behind him by 4 points after 35 rounds or 34 rounds. It's Jan Bukowski, and then Nika Pontola, Rick Cardle, Jari Katila. Then it's Trespasser, Pekka Koivunen for World Class Lines, Michael Malek's up there as well in the top 8. Then it's Joni Katila, Chris McElroy for TC Racing, Magic, and Timu Soini. Tom Salmonen still up there, David Godge, Frank Sinchetti, Abe's there, Anton Ahlers, Gabor, Pedro Bicanco, Teo Jose, Paulis Petrosaukas, Adam Brown for Team Racing, Walter Lemons, and Roni.
Adam Brown for TC Racing.
What did I say?
Team Rock Racing.
Team Rock Racing. TC Racing for Adam Brown, yes. Good. Then over to the teams standings. We have Yes Motorsport, of course, leading the way. They're very, very close, the top teams here. World Class Lines a little bit falling by the wayside, but it's amazing to see Yes Motorsport and Team Racing separated by only 18 points at the top of the tables. Then it's WCL, Race Green, Born to Race, MRC, Road Appraiser, TC Racing, Sidus, NRT still up there, Virtual Energy Racing, and Conquest. Qualifying's underway, Jack, so we should take the viewers to the track, I think.
Yeah, so the fastest lap we saw in practice was a 1 minute 27.71. We expect the outlap to be about 1 minute 45-ish, depending on how aggressive the guys are getting their tyres up to temperature. But it looks as though Road Appraiser TJ is going to be the first man to complete his outlap. He's currently right up against the wall going through turn number 11, trying to get the maximum amount of straight line speed he possibly can before crossing the start-finish line.
Yeah, we're watching him as he goes around the first corner, down towards this tricky first section of the lap, this little chicane that we've got here at KY National. It's a great infield section here as he enters this famous double right-hander at the beginning of the lap. And then up towards what we like to call the Parabolica. Down 2 or 3 gears on entry, I think, for this one. It's quite a big braking zone. It's quite tight, especially in the FO8, and then he heads through to this infield chicane section. And closes out the lap with one final sector. Underneath the bridge. Heavy braking for a really tricky chicane actually, especially in this car. It's uphill, off camber, got to get the power down, and then flat, hard right-hander out onto the oval, avoiding the wall. Oh, a little bit of a kiss there. And then you want to drop down onto as close to the apron as you can without dropping a wheel. Carry all that speed that you should have carried out of the last corner onto the long oval section. 3 corners of the oval in use. And our first time of the day is a 1:28, which is around about, it's not the fastest time we're going to see, I don't think. There we go, William Lima with a 1:27.9 for Energy Virtual Racing. And then Lagutskas under his alias Lacunas tonight in P2 with a 28.03. And he leaves the pits for another lap. So yeah, it's quite it's a short lap in the FO8, but we do have 16 minutes of quali, so quite a long time. Plenty of time for drivers to get plenty of laps in, and it looks like it's getting quite busy out there.
It is. I think there's 27 cars. I don't know how many of them are on the track. I know there's at least one just currently sat in the pit garage waiting for a bit of a window in order to get out on track. But yeah, 5.1 kilometers in total, 3.2 miles. And yeah, 11 corners and 27 drivers trying to fight over a bit of tarmac and a bit of clean air.
So far, a strong showing from Energy Virtual Racing. 2 drivers at the top of the standings, but it's early days.
Yeah, that's a nice lap as well from Marcel Neva for Energy Virtual Racing there. Currently on pole position with a 1 minute 27.64, just shy of 3/10 faster than his teammate, who will line up alongside on row number 1.
Yeah, I wonder who we're going to see setting the pace in this session. Well, we know that Neva is rapid, and he's not happy with that attempt, so he's going to go out and try and better it. He's already got nearly a 3/10 buffer over his teammate, but he thinks he can do better than a 1:27.6, which is already a stunning lap time, especially considering it's his first effort of the session. So Neva makes his way through this final little chicane, and we'll go on board with him for his full attempt at another flying lap. Heavy onto the oval there, didn't use all the road, didn't need to, and as you can see, the traditional wide line as he runs as close to the wall as he can, using the high line to carry as much speed. Across start finish to start a hot lap of KY2. Use as little steering input as you can. You want to take the line of least resistance through the corner. The more lock you've got on, the more resistance there's going to be. Heavy on the gas, and then heavy on the brakes for turn number 1. A quick right and then a left. Really feathering the throttle. Heavy on the brakes again for the double right-hander. And then this is a really tricky point to pick up the gas. Heading on down to the Parabolica now. Over to the left, then over to the right. No curb here, so don't want to drop a wheel as you brake down to 3rd gear. Nice apex there actually from Marcel Neva. Use all the curb on the exit here. Then we've got this interesting infield chicane. You can use quite a lot of the runoff. There you go. Still keeps 2 wheels on the track. Nicely done. This corner can catch you out in the FO8. It's quite easy to lose it there. You can already see some skid marks on the road where drivers have already been off in that corner. And into the final section. Really easy to get this wrong. Nicely over the curb. Little bit of a lift. Don't want to go on that inside curb too much, but Marcel manages to keep the power down. Doesn't hit the wall, and now it's just an easy drive to the line. It looked like quite a conservative middle sector, but let's see if it's an improvement. His current lap time, a 1:27.64. It is an improvement. A 1:27.27. That's crazy. Japan, half a second off. But Japan is about to start another lap.
Yeah, it looks as though Lacunas has improved as well, pushing The second Energy Virtual Racing car of William Lima down into P number 4. So just shy of half a second does Marcel Neva have. That is the deficit from second to first position at the moment in qualifying, with just under 8.5 minutes remaining. Now, you have to approach this car in a slightly different way, especially in the braking zones. As the downforce drops off the car, you need to bleed off the brake pedal. And as well, you can't be too aggressive shifting down the gears because it's quite easy to lock the rear axle and lose a bit of traction.
Jaban aborts his lap, so he's only got 8 minutes. It's 2 or 3 flying laps left for Jaban to try and get that pole position, but Marcel Neva really has thrown down the gauntlet there. That is a mighty lap from the Energy Virtual Racing driver there, the number 905. I love the Energy Virtual Racing livery. It's kind of retro, but not. I don't know how best to describe it, really. I just like it. Jaban is out for another attempt, so we'll see if he can get anywhere near Marcel's time. TJ's on a lap. TJ normally one who's good in the single-seaters. Let's see if he can make anything of this lap. He got his wheels on the inside curve of Parabolica there, which isn't the fastest way around that corner. Tends to ruin the differential at the rear a little bit. Bit of wheel spin there. And he's coming up against a bit of traffic. Hopefully it doesn't get in the way. It's a WCL car that goes into the wall, in fact. So that was no problem for TJ. Maybe a little bit of a distraction. Currently in P5, nearly a second off what Marcel Neva has achieved in this session already. But what can the road appraiser driver do? He's out of fuel and rolls it across the line.
Yeah, I could just see the throttle wide open there as the revs drop. No fuel left to combust. William Lima moves back up into third position with a 1 minute 27.78. Just a little bit faster than he went earlier, and again, just 3/100ths of a second shy of the front row of the grid. Still though, just under 6 minutes remain, and I think an attempt, well, an outlap and a quick flyer is around about just shy 3.5 minutes. So enough time for drivers to get a second run in. Of course, they can get a full 3.5 minute outlap and a flyer in. And as long as they cross the start-finish line before the checkered flag drops for qualifying, they can finish the session. So again, 2 runs still on the table.
Speaking of runs, we're riding on board with Yes Motorsports Unite. Nico Pantola currently third in the championship, 61 points off of Kevin Peet. And let's see what he can do. He's not really been at the front or the sharp end of some of the rounds. He did have a great win at Westhill a few rounds ago, though, in race 2. Let's see what he can manage on this lap. Takes quite a wide line in, misses the apex of turn number 1 quite badly, but manages to carry the speed. He's going to continue with this lap by the looks of it. Also missed the apex there and there again, so a bit of a shaky start, and he's already aborted. So Unite will have 4.5 minutes-ish to go out, do another warm-up lap and try and get Sector 1 done a little bit better than that. He's quite a way off the front drivers here at the moment. He's 1.6 seconds off, in fact. Quite a deficit for the Yes Motorsports driver, who is really at the top of the championship right now. He doesn't want to risk losing too many points today, so he needs to get a lap under his belt. Let's take a look at TC Racing's Adam. Ooh, he's come up to some traffic already on his hot lap.
Yeah, he was right behind Michael at the start of the lap. He's continuing anyway. Adam currently sits in 12th position for TC Racing, a 1:28.39, and there's 3 identical times there as well. Look, Yes Motorsport Trespasser in P10, Born to Race's Ayub in P11, and TC Racing's Adam, all with absolutely identical times. And of course, the only thing separating them is, of course, the order that they set the laps in. So You can see Trespasser will have set the identical lap time the first, then Ayub, then Adam. But Adam's gone a little bit faster in practice anyway. I think he did a 128.0.
Still, really impressive to see 3 drivers with the exact same lap time. Normally it happens kind of up at the top of the field when drivers really are pushing the limit, but here today it looks like it's reserved for the midfield. Let's see whether that little tangle with Michael at the beginning of the lap has cost him any time. It looks like he's committed to the lap. He's 1.1 seconds off the pace. Will it be an improvement for the TC Racing driver? Yes, it will be, but only by a tenth. It does move him up 2/10.
Considering what happened at, well, turns 2 to turns 4 on that lap, it's, yeah, I think Adam should be able to get into the 1 minute 27s. That would, of course, put him in 6th position. He can go faster than a 127.94, however, and bump him up the order.
Let's see what Rick Cardle can do as he gears up for a lap. Yes, Motorsport are in P4 and 5, Rick P8 at the moment, as he winds up to start a fast lap. Jack, do you want to talk us through this one?
Sure. So, sticking all the way up to the left-hand side of the wall, try and get as much speed. You can see we're hitting about 270 kilometers as we peel off the wall. Now we cross the line, and this is where we'll see Rick will try to tuck into that apron almost, trying to get as close to the white line without unsettling the car. And again, back out to the left-hand side, braking just before or just after the 100-meter board, getting it loaded up into the right and left chicane of turn 2, and then slowed down whilst you turn in as well for the double right-hander of turns 3 and 4. Bit of AstroTurf on the left-hand side for you to use should you wish, but now it's a straight line dash into turn number 5, which we nicknamed the Parabolica. And again, you have to almost lead the brake off whilst turning into the corner. Can catch a few people out. Again, there's a bit of AstroTurf on the right hand side on exit for you to use, and then it's a quick dash over to the left to round off this double right-hander that is only named as one corner, turn 7, and then the long left-hander that is turn 8, slightly cambered towards the apex, so it can help drift the car around the corner under the chromo bridge, and then again turning into turn number 9, trying to get that speed scrubbed off without locking any of the wheels. And it's tricky turn 10 is because of course you can get on the power quite early, but you've got a concrete wall on the outside that's going to stop you if you get a little bit too eager on the throttle, and then sticking right down to the white line near the apron, drifting up ever so slightly to try and round off the very final kink to complete a lap here at Kyoto National, and that is good enough for P number 7.
Yeah, same lap time as Gutragi, in fact. Very, very close to the 27s there. Neva still leading the way with a 127.26. Lacunas with a 127.69. 4 tenths off the pace. Then it's Japan really, really close behind. Less than a tenth between the Yes Motorsport and Team Racing drivers. Round out the top 3.
I was just about to say, I think Phantom was rounding the final corner to start his last flying lap, but ran out of time just before he crossed the start-finish line. So I believe the last car on the time lap will be Japan for Team Rock Racing. The man currently in 3rd position with a 1 minute 27.75. No one seems to be able to have even the slightest answer for Marcel Neve's pace up at the front, though. Just look at that deficit from 1st to 2nd.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the other FO8 race we had at Westhill when Mauna Kassa was way out front. No one could get anywhere near him. But today it's Neva. As Japan makes his way through the final sector now. Just crosses into the final sector. Will it be an improvement? It looks like a smooth lap.
Yeah, reasonable middle sector, 58.85. Again, trying to keep as low as possible around the long banked turn number 11 and across the line. He moves up into 2nd position, a beautiful lap. 1 minute 27.59. But at the moment, Marcel Neva looks to be cemented on pole position.
Yeah, I do think that does conclude the qualifying session. 26 qualifiers, Mega rounds out the 26 times. And yeah, so we have two 13-lap races. So we're looking at slightly around about 20 minutes again for each of the races this evening. The first will go off the order of qualifying as you see it on your screens now, and the second race will be a fully reversed grid based on the finishing results of race number 1. That's the format that we run here for the Team Racing 2020 Championship. We're at round 35 with 10 remaining, and Marcel Neva will start in pole position, followed by Jaban. Then Lacunas, otherwise known as Lagutskas, on the second row with Energy Virtual Racing's William Lima in P4. Then it's Gabor in P5, Road Appraisers TJ P6, Katrag in P7, then TC Racing's Adam up there in P8. Sidus is Rick Cardle, drops down to P9, so I think Adam got a jump on him somewhere there. Victor Veloso for Energy Virtual Racing rounds out row number 5. Race screens Roni in P11, then it's Trespasser in P12, Ayub for Born to Race in P13, Phantom P14, Araujo in P15, Nika Pantola P16, Yari Katila P17, Gavin Pete P18, Texas for Team Up Racing P19, Pekka Koivunen for World Class Lines in P20. Then it's Race Green Autosports Mandula alongside Michael Malik on row 11, Timu Soini and Yoni Katila together on row 12. And the final row of the grid occupied by the MRC boys, Kig and Mega. We've got around about 3 minutes till the beginning of the session. I think we'll take a quick break, Jack, unless you've got anything you'd like to summarise the
No, I
qualifying
think
session
we
with.
are set to go green flag racing at 22 minutes past 7 UTC. So, of course, we'll be back very shortly. Don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back to round 35 of the Team Up Racing 2020 Championship. We are go for race number 1. Jack, do you want to take us away for the start?
Sure, we've got to be very careful here. Wheel spin is accustomed to this car. Of course, we are running slicks, but first gear and the amount that this weighs, of course, being stationary, zero downforce, quite easy to over-rotate those rear wheels as we look for the red lights. 3 red lights. And away we go for race number 1 of round 35 of the Team Rock Racing Championship here from Kyoto National. Brilliant start from Marcel Nieve. Looks as though Juban already attempting to defend from Lacunas, who's trying to slingshot himself at least up the inside at the moment, as I think we're going to be 3 wide almost into turn number 1. Marcel Nieve holding the inside, Juban on the outside, and 3 don't go into 1. Gents, you got to be very careful here. Juban again has a little look at the inside, and that's TJ for Road Appraisers off on the right hand side of the track. But your top 5 at the moment are Marcel Nieve, Team Rock Racing's Juban Lacunas, and William Lima. So 3 Energy Virtual Racing cars in the top 6 at the moment. And Marcel Nieve has 0.3 of a second to Juban just behind.
Yeah, Japan's done well there to stick with him, actually, considering everything that was going on into turn number 1. Lots of changes up and down the order, but we're sticking with the front 2 right now. Japan has a really important task. He cannot let Marcel Nieve get away. He needs to stick under that rear wing in the infield and then use the slingshot on the slipstream on the oval to get past, or at least stay with the Energy Virtual Racing driver.
Yeah, he was doing a good job so far this lap, but a little deep into turn 8 was the Team Rock Racing driver. You could see he had to get out of the brakes just a little bit, missed the apex by a few meters, and that's given Marcel Nieve a little bit of breathing room. But again, I'm not quite sure if he's completely within draft range. Maybe he's in a prime spot to gain a couple of kilometers an hour down the straight. But again, unless Marcel Nieve has a little bit of a moment into turn 1, maybe getting too low down close to that white line, I don't think Juban's got enough pace at the moment to take it into turn number 1. I think Marcel Nieve's got a 0.6 of a second advantage at the line, and then it's about 0.8 of a second back to Vitautas Lacunas in P number 3.
Yeah, good track, and William Lima going at it. William Lima gets a nose ahead, but there's contact. Oh, they were very lucky to keep it on the road there. And there's Adam Brown getting a nose stuck in there. A little bit of contact again. Ooh, keep it clean, boys. Adams made up some places. He was in P8 at the start. He's up to P6. He was sniffing P5 there, but good track. And William Lima coming together in the first couple of corners there was a bit spicy. So we have, who is that? Is that Unite? Unite goes very wide there. The 2 silver and black Yes Motorsport drivers of Gabor and Unite getting stuck in here. Victor Veloso's got mirrors full of Yes Motorsport. Lacunas running an old LLM skin today. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
I say a couple of decent starts at the moment. Getrag up a couple positions, same for TC Racing's Adam, but Yes Motorsport Unite up 8 positions from where he started. Gavin Pete also in 10th position, 8 positions up from where he started.
9. There he goes on the inside of Victor Veloso there. Victor's going to try and get back at him. It's a drag race now, down to turn number 1 for these 2. Victor going really, really defensive. Mind you, there's not really many places you can go on an oval. Unite's going to try and get back at him into turn 1. He's trying to go the long way around. Opts to slot back in, and is that William Lima getting on the gravel there again? Yes. So Getrag's got past William Lima on the oval, and now Adam's trying to get past that yellow, blue and red car. Adam must have had a bad exit, or Getrag must have just had a great exit, because Getrag's managed to get past William Lima and disappear. But the top 3 have disappeared even further than that, as Marcel Nieve takes the fastest lap for now in the race. He's got a comfortable gap over Team Rock Racing's Japan and Lacunas in P3.
And it's all kicking off in the midfield. Adam currently defending from both Yes Motorsports drivers. I think Unite and Gabor switch places at turn 8 this particular lap. All fighting over space. Adam a little bit of a snap on the way through turn 10, but he looks at the moment to be somewhat safe as Gabor and Unite continue to battle side by side now.
Yeah, the teammates are battling over the same piece of tarmac while Adam's trying to get away ahead. Neither of them are in the slipstream. Unite now is in the slipstream. Let's see what goes down into turn 1 here. Which line will Unite take? The outside line. He likes the outside line here. Adam's
Yeah,
going
if
to
you get
squeeze him
enough
to
of
the
an
wall, though.
overlap through the right-hand side, puts you on the inside for the left-hander here. The move is made, but it's not over yet. Adam might again try it around the outside here, but doesn't want to leave himself too vulnerable to Gabor just behind, of course, with the double right-hander. We've got Parabolica coming up next. Let's see how close that TC Racing car can get to the back of that Yes Motorsport car through the long sweeping left-hander that is turn number 5.
Yeah,
It's all about
Gabor.
getting on the power earlier. Brilliant for Adam to get on the
Yeah.
power so early. You can see him closing the gap up, aided by the draft as well, of course. A little bit of a lift through the right-hander, and the rear of the car wants to step out, but Adam is almost alongside now. If he can brake just a little bit later,
Yeah,
again, he
Unite
has
gave
the
him
move made.
place.
And you can see the downshift there really unsettled the rear of that car. You heard the tyre scrubbing, and Unite with the cutback.
Yeah,
Adam still retains 8th position.
Gabor used 4th through the Parabolica, where I've seen most drivers using 3rd, so unless Gabor's just trying to save his tyres a little bit, he definitely compromised his exit in the middle sector. But now let's see, because Gabor is going to close up to the back of Adam. I don't think Adam's got Unite's toe, has he? He might have a little bit, but Gabor's definitely going to be on top of Adam by the time we get to turn number 1. Here he comes. Swings to the inside for oval turn 1. And he's passed as we head down to turn number 1 and the infield section. But can Adam come back? Which way is he going to try? He's going to try the outside line again. Oh, and he's actually made it work. That was very brave. Fair play. Good move. Gabor very fair as well, remember. But yeah, nice to retain that position there for Adam. But that's let Unite get away a little bit, and look in the background, it's Phantom in that Cyan F08 trying to get involved as well. Oh, it looks like Gabor's trying to force Adam off his line a little bit there. Adam definitely having a fun time out there getting that rear end lit up as he tries to put the power down. But now Phantom is all over the back of Yes Motorsports. Gabor piling on that pressure. Now, if Gabor doesn't have any of the tow from Adam's car, he's in big trouble here. He got a little bit deep and he's hit the wall. Phantom's going to be all over him. Let's see what he can do. It should be easy pickings on the straight, really, considering he's that close. He doesn't want to do it too early, of course, because Gabor comes straight back at him. So Phantom needs to stick to the left and try and run him around the outside. But yeah, Gabor straight back in that slipstream. And probably, bit of an odd place to choose to pull out of the slipstream. Which way is Gabor going to go? He's going to go for the outside again.
Now we saw this exact move the last time, but he's going to get 2 positions in one, as Adam had a little bit of a moment there, but Adam again retains the inside line for the double right-hander. That is turn 3 and 4, and Adam using all the track on the exit, even though there was a car there. Yep. And that's pushed Gabor down behind Phantom and Ayub.
Yeah, Ayub making up a position there. Phantom will be under pressure from Ayub as well if he can't get that rear in check. I'm not sure what happens to Adam down into turn 1 there. I think he just got a bit too deep through the first chicane, maybe braked a little bit late or got a bit unsettled on the curb, who knows. But anyway, he's managed to stay up in the order somewhat, but not ideal. Ayub taking full advantage of this. But yeah, Gabor trying to get past Ayub. Oh, nearly some contact. That was pretty close. But yeah, it's going to be a slipstream battle between Ayub and Gabor down the straight. Or on the oval, rather. And Gabor's through for now and takes the defensive line. Ayub will probably slip in, move back into the slipstream at the apex. There we go. Similar picture up front. We've got Adam and Phantom going at it. Phantom making his own luck here. A little bit of contact, but well defended in the end from Adam.
Yeah, they switch positions, but again retain side by side for now. But Adam again winning out this one on the inside line for the double right-hander. Gabor is just ahead of Ayub. But your top 5 at the moment, Energy Virtual Racing's Marcel Neva out in the lead and has a 2.5 second gap to Team Rock Racing's Juban in second place. Vitatas Lacunas VS Motorsport in third position, with Getrag and William Lima for Energy Virtual Racing right on the tail there. So William Lima right behind Getrag in the battle for fourth position. I think about a quarter of a second separates these two on track. Less than a car length at the moment as we navigate through the right-hander of turn 9. Oh, and Getrag's had a little bit of a moment. It looks as though the car bottomed out, or a little bit of wheel spin trying to get on the power. He's able to return to the track, albeit with a little bit of front wing damage. Victor Veloso is going to make sure he gets his way past, and potentially, yes, Motorsports Unite as well, as Getrag is still trying to get back up to racing speed. So if Unite plays his cards right here, he can leapfrog both of these cars. Of course, Victor Veloso and Getrag still side by side. There's a bit of contact there, trying to fight over the widest part of the track here at Kyoto National.
Here comes Unite.
So Unite to the inside line, Getrag in the middle, and Victor Veloso was on the outside but backs out of it at the last minute. Tries to dive up the inside. There's contact between the two, and that is Victor Veloso into the gravel trap. Still rolling at the moment, though. Hopefully he can jump back on track in a second. He's lost out to quite a few people. The last person to go through will be Yes Motorsports Trespasser. So Victor Veloso down in 13th position now and struggling to get on the power as well. He's going to lose out to TJ.
And his teammate if he's not careful. Arajo. But yeah, Unite must be grinning. He's up to P5.
So that's 11 positions gained from your race start. Of course, the top 4 retain their positions from the get-go. So Yes Motorsport Unite up to 5th position, up 11 places, up 6 places for Phantom, 7 places as well gained for Gavin Peet so far. And the biggest losers, at least at the moment, look to be Rick Cardle down 12 positions from where he started. Road praises TJ in 13th. He's down 7 positions too. So, but again, plenty of time for everybody to sort of regroup. The mid-pack is somewhat condensed.
Adam's about to be under huge pressure here. He got an awful exit onto the oval, and Phantom and Gabor are going to be all over him. There we go.
Yeah, but to be fair though, it might not even work out too bad for Adam though, because as soon as the cars ahead of him can get past, he tucks right back into that slipstream, and again might come out on top. Because it's not necessarily the worst thing to be at the back of the pack, especially when you've got such a long straight. I know turn 1 is kind of involved here, but again, completely flat. And look, Adam comes out at least so far on top. If Gabor can keep it on the outside, he might have a shout. But
Gabor,
runs out of room, and Phantom trying it around the outside. There's now in the double right-hander of turn 3 and 4. Adam struggling to get on the power. Phantom with the better traction and the better exit in total. Adam can now tuck into the slipstream, but I don't know if we're going to see a move into Parabolica as Gabor makes his way up on the inside of Ayub there in the background. So we're fighting over positions left, right and centre here, and we're only on lap 9 of 13 here in race number 1. And of course, you thought the action was going to be good in this race. Wait till the reverse grid race. After this one, it looks as though Gabor just a little bit wide, and Ayub as well, losing out to Gavin Peet there at turn number 8.
Yeah, the championship leader in P11. After desperate points here, it's very, very close at the top of the championship. Gavin Peet can't be affording to get any bad results in the championship in the last 10 rounds. Maybe the FO8 isn't one that he's liking right now. He's not even in the top 10, and we're running out of laps. He needs to get a wriggle on.
Well, I'm not sure if his setup's maybe tailored to this track. Gavin Peet struggling quite a bit with the inside front left tyre temperatures. Rears look nice and healthy, but again, either a little bit too much camber, potentially a little bit too much brake pedal, or a little bit too much lock. He's definitely struggling, of course, with a clockwise track. The left side tyre is going to be the one to heat up the most. Gavin Peet nursing a bit of an issue here, trying to get through as Adam and Gabor tangle, and they're both off into the gravel there. So they've both lost out to Ayub and Gavin Peet on this particular occasion. But again, I think they're continuing to battle as Adam's struggling to get onto the power, and that is Victor Veloso into the back of the TC racing driver.
Just
Adam off onto the right hand side.
Well, did he, Victor Veloso?
Well, I don't think he was expecting anybody to be sort of on the racing line and struggling to get the power down. But of course, Adam off of the track just before turn number 4 again. Has to clean up the surface of that tyre before he can unlock its true potential. Can't just get out of a gravel trap and stamp on the accelerator with dirty tyres. As Victor Veloso has a little bit of a moment, loses out to his teammate. Massive slide on the exit of turn 8. Did well to retain control of the car and not have it make a complete rotation.
Yeah, the teammates battling up and down the grid, aren't they? It's 2x2 for Yes Motorsport, then 2x2 for Energy Virtual Racing. Quite surprising we haven't got any world-class Lions drivers battling directly with each other right now. They normally enjoy an inter-team scrap in the TRR Championship, but we're witnessing Energy Virtual Racing's inter-team battle at the moment for P13. Unite's in a nice comfortable gap there. Gatrag is on pace but running out of laps. A bit of damage on that car as well. Hopefully it's not causing him too many issues. It doesn't look like it. He's still got the pace as Gatrag. Phantom is a little bit further back though, it has to be said, but good places gained for both of these drivers. But now it's all about the front because Jaban is going to have mirrors full of Lacunas as we head on to the oval for the 11th time in race 1.
Yeah, Lacunas was about a tenth and a half faster than Jaban last time around. Jaban with a 128.74, Lacunas with a 128.59, and again consistently faster as Lacunas in at least sector 1 and 100th faster in sector 2.
Here he comes.
And that's a personal best from the man in 3rd position, again trying to bide his time, waiting for the perfect moment to attack, because of course the faster you get in front of the car ahead, the faster the car you just passed can tuck straight back into that slipstream. But single file we run at least through the initial sector of the lap now for the penultimate time, the double right-hander of turns 3 and 4, and Lacunas at least struggling to get on the power in comparison to Jaban, who looks to just drive away from the S Motorsport driver. But again, in looking at the tyres, Jaban's inside front left is absolutely on fire. The surface of the inside front left is around about 90 degrees. Shouldn't hinder him too much when the tyre's completely loaded up and you can use all that camber of course as the car's loaded up, the tyre flattens out in the corners. But again, maybe on initial turn in and in a straight line, at least trying to get the car slowed down, he's arguably more likely to flat spot it. But Lacunas at the moment, even though he is currently behind the Team Rock Racing driver, looks to be at least capable of getting in front. But can he stay ahead? He'll have the draft now as we round turn 11 for the penultimate time to start the final lap here.
Yeah, it will all be about where these cars are.
So Lacunas has gone early. Yeah, Lacunas has gone early, and now he's weaving all over the place to try and break the tote. Or at least he did a little bit before he commit to the inside of turn number 1. But looks as though Jaban's going to attack back. Will Lacunas strategically jump behind and try and attack on the final portion of the track? No, he's going to brake late.
Beautiful move.
Very, very close. Looks as though there's a little bit of an issue there just ahead. That is Marcel Neva. So his lead of 4.41 seconds now down to 1.36. And a sector 1 time of 31.43 as Lacunas does a 28.3. So it looks as though I think Marcel Neva just maybe got on the power a bit too aggressive through turn number 4 and lost the rear a little bit. But whatever happened, he's lost about 3 seconds from where he was earlier. But it looks as though Lacunas has now pulled away from Jaban ever so slightly as Jaban goes a little bit deep just behind into turn number 8. The top 3 at the moment look to be separated by about 1.5 seconds. So again, about 0.7 seconds ahead and behind of the man in 2nd position.
It's amazing how that lead just came down to nothing. But anyway, round the last corner and on to the final little dash. It's Marcel Neva for Energy Virtual Racing who will take the win in race number 1, closely followed by Lacunas and Jaban. Those guys stayed pretty close together the whole race, but on the last lap when it counted, Jaban wasn't able to fend off the fast-paced Lacunas. William Lima for Energy Virtual Racing crosses the line in P4. Then we've got Unite and Gatrag Then quite a close finish there between Phantom, Ayub and TJ. TJ recovered well there, up to P9. Then it's Kevin Pete, P10, Trespasser and Gabor, the S Motorsports teammates, in P11 and 12. Victor Veloso, Yoni Catilla and Araujo finish the top 15. Then a disappointing race really from Rick Cardle, P16 only for the Sidus driver. Would have expected much more from him. Then we've got some WCL cars. We've got World Class Lines, Yari Catilla, TRR Texas, Race Greens Mandula and Michael running out the top 20. Timu Soini and Adam Brown. What a tragic race that was. P8 down to P22 after getting stuck in and knocking on the door of P5. Unite took over that position, and then Adam fell through the order with some unlucky incidents, it has to be said, but also some slight errors. And yeah, the I said Team Rock Racing again, Jack. TC Racing's Adam down to P22. Race Green Autosports, Roni in P23, and the 24 finish is rounded out by World Class Lines Pekka Koivunen, who will take the pole position for race 2 in a few minutes' time.
So Marcel Nieve for Energy Virtual Racing looks as though led every single lap of that race. Only won by 0.95 of a second, so again less than a second when it came down to it after at least crossing the start-finish line to start the very final lap with a 4.5-second lead. But yeah, half a second clear of everybody else in terms of fastest lap. So Marcel Nieve a 1:27.92. and Vitatas Lukunas and Jaban in second and third, only managing a 1:28.46, both setting identical personal best race times. But looking at the splits, of course, Marcel Nieve fastest of anybody in split number 1 and split number 2, but of course, having led every single lap and not benefiting from the slipstream, loses out in sector 3 to Vitatas Lukunas.
Speaking of Lacunas or Lagutskas, he, considering his pace in LFS in general in the series we've been watching him in, looking at Marcel Nieve absolutely like driving away from him in that race, it speaks a lot to Marcel Nieve that he has pace. Yeah, we'd love to see him in more series. He's been semi-regular these days in the TRR Championship, especially in the single seaters. But great to see some very, very, very fast guys at the front of this field. But Jaban not quite able to get onto the second step in the end.
Yeah, I tell you, another person that with some decent pace is the man in 4th position, William Lima, the teammate to Marcel Nieve, who of course took pole position and the win in race number 1. William Lima actually mirroring his teammate's sector 1 time, and in terms of best lap in race number 1 was about a 1/10.5 faster than the 2 guys ahead of him. So again, maybe that was just bad luck or a potential mistake that robbed him, but he finished 6 seconds down on the lead with a gap of about 5 seconds to 3rd position. Again though, for race number 2 with the reverse grid in just a few minutes time, he will start ahead of again his main rivals, in 20th position or 21st position, sorry. Again, the faster guys behind him, can he keep the faster guys behind him? It looks as though 23 of the 24 cars in race number 1 finished on the lead lap. It's just Pekka Koivunen for World Class Lines finishing a lap down. But yeah, Race Green Autosports Roni, 1:12 down on the race leader. So a decent spread over 13 laps, you'd say, and arguably possible for the guys at the very back of the grid to potentially get a podium, if not win.
We've seen it before. It will be tricky, especially with an enormous oval to draft on, but it should be interesting all the same. Roni starting down in finishing in 23rd, starting second in the next race. He is no stranger to the FO8, having won an LFS kart championship back in the day. So yeah, let's see what Roni can do. And also don't forget TCR Adam. He is in P22. He'll start 3rd. And we saw what he was able to do in this race, so he's one to watch for race 2 if he can keep his car out of trouble, which he somewhat struggled with during that race. But yeah, plenty to look forward to for the start of the next race. How long have we got, Jack?
So I think the race number 2 is scheduled to start about 48 minutes past, so we've got about just shy of 2 minutes. So yeah, we'll cut to a break and we'll be back very soon. Don't go anywhere.
Well, welcome back to round 35. We're on, well, we're just about ready to go for race 2. Jack, do you want to take it away again for the start?
Sure.
I can do it if you want.
So Pekka Koivunen and Race Green Autosports Roni line at least row number 1 with TC Racing's Adam a somewhat favourite as we wait for the lights to go out here. And race 2 is underway, and it's not the greatest start from Pekka Koivunen and Roni into the lead, and Adam having to dive to the right hand side of the track. Has to not pick up the World Class Lines car.
Oh, got contact
navigating
in the
through
back as
turn
well.
1. Everybody trying to bump wheels, and it's Master Race Cars Michael and Teemu Soini that are almost side by side as Michael tries to make a move for second position into turn 2. There's contact between the two, but luckily they get away with it. It's still too wide in the background. It looks as though there's a couple cars off into the gravel there. Big contact there. Hopefully nobody who could potentially be fighting for the race lead is caught up in any of this, but at the moment Roni has an 0.8 of a second advantage over TC Racing's Adam. It's Master Race Cars Michael in third position with Mandula trying to go around the outside in Parabolica. Rick Cardle nice and pretty in fifth position, and the top 5 somewhat look to be breaking away from the rest of the pack, at least so far, as everybody still squabbles over positions. Mandula trying to do everything he can to get past Michael now. Heavy braking zone into turn number 8 for the first time in race number 2. And your top 4 remain the same, but Mandula, can he make a move into turn 9 now? Massive lock up, and a bit of the grass on the left hand side promotes Rick Cardle up into 5th position. Mandula now down into P number 6, but seems to have a at least better exit out of turn 10 as we go into, well, oval turn 3 you'd say, but it's turn 11 here at Kyoto National.
Jaban is up to P12, Neva in P14, so great start for these two guys. Jaban battling with his teammate here, Texas.
Keep an eye on GetTrack though, Pete. He's up 10 positions from where he started.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He's knocking on the door of... Who is that? Is that, Yoni Katilla. He's trying to get past, so he's choosing the outside line into turn 1. Yoni defends and keeps the position for now.
Yeah, a couple of side-by-side cars just in the background there. Team Rock Racing's Texas and Marcel Neva battling over P11 at the moment. So Marcel Neva up 12 positions from where he started as well. Jaban just a couple of positions ahead. He's up 12 positions as that's a car off into the background there,
Yeah,
I believe.
he spun out and just got forced a little bit wide and couldn't keep the car pointing straight, and managed to keep it out of trouble. So fair play, but it's all going off further ahead. Gatrag is still hunting down Yoni Katilla.
Ooh, Marcel Neva slightly offline there in the braking zone of turn 8. Managed to grab the gravel, but luckily got it back on the track before he hit the brakes. Regained control and carried on. Doesn't lose out to anybody, and is still right on the tail of Team Rock Racing's Texas. Again, though, potentially just accounting for lack of temperature into the tyres. You could see he backed off a little bit before getting on the power and hitting that apex of turn 10 now as we navigate round turn 11 and up ahead, too wide all over the place. As everybody squabbling over positions for Mandula and Pekka Koivunen. With Gavin Pete involved as well.
Yeah, Gavin Pete was good though. Good car placement. Pekka had to basically get out of it. He went for the move. Gavin Pete closed it down, and that's allowed Mandula now to close up on the inside. Gavin gets later on the brakes and is into turn 1. And Pekka with a little bit of a lub tap on the back of Mandula there for good measure. But Gavin, looking up the inside of Michael for Master Race Car. That's the podium that he can see now. Rick Cardle currently occupying the last step, and Michael lets him through rather easily in the end.
Like I say, late on the brakes for Gavin Pete, but managed to get the car slowed down and more importantly turned in and hit his apex again, leaving racing room on the outside for Master Race Cars Michael. But as Gavin Pete attempts to pull away, Mandula again trying to get a bit closer to the back of Michael as they all concertina up into turn 8 for the third time here. Now Mandula trying it around the outside now, approaching turn 9.
Michael got a good break, well on the brakes there. That was good.
And that's Rick Cardle.
Rick Cardle, what's happened there?
To be, I was going to say there was some tyres off to the left-hand side of the track. So whether Rick Cardle again just got the little kink between turn 9 and 10 all wrong collected those tyres and scrubbed a lot of speed off, but yeah, he was recovering. He currently sits in P11.
We've got some
back
bump
up
drafting.
to racing speed behind Pekka Koivunen, but just ahead of these guys, Joni Katia's in the middle of this with Jaban just up ahead, Mandula just behind. And I think all three of these can potentially get past Master Race Cars Michael if they keep catching him at the rate of knots that they are doing at the moment.
Mandula
But
was
Jaban goes for the move.
Mandula was trying to get past, and Yoni Casilla and Jaban just appeared out of nowhere. So, but yeah, now Mandula and Michael are back together again. And Katrag's trying to get past as well.
Yeah, what a train of cars we have. So Jaban in 4th position with Yoni Katia in 5th. Master Race Cars Michael P6. Mandula P7. But on the right side of Mandula, we've got Getrag trying it around the outside now with a long sweeping left-hander that is turn 5. And right behind Getrag, we've got Marcel Neve, a race winner from last time around, and the man that took pole position earlier on. Getrag just had to check up a little bit. Marcel Neve tries to go over the anti-cuts on the left-hand side, had nowhere to go. Arguably should have backed out of that one, but props for bravery there as he makes his way up into 8th position.
I think that's one way
on lap 4 of 13. So let's just work out the gap. I think the gap from Marcel Neve to the leader of the race is around about 8 seconds now, as Ronnie has a 7/10 of a second advantage over TC Racing's Adam, who went purple in sector number 2 this time around. Marcel Neve now under pressure from Getrag.
Getrag not happy with that move. I think Neve was very cheeky using the undercuts there. Getrag had every right to try and defend that move, but it's just somehow Neve is staying ahead. I think Getrag might be biding his time, trying to get past.
I was going to say we've had 2
here.
moves so far. Of course, Marcel Neve got past Getrag initially, and Getrag's already had a manoeuvre back at him.
Yeah,
all to be played for into the braking zone.
Yeah, it didn't go for the move, so maybe just settling for P8 at the moment, Getrag. How many more places can Marcel Neve make up? We've got 7 or 8 laps left. 8 laps.
And he's already up 17, and he's on the right-hand side of Michael. Let's see if he's brave enough to go around the outside. It looks like a little bit of a lift for Marcel Neve, at least on the approach to the braking zone for turn 5 now. Maybe attempting the switchback, but just looks to get on the power a bit earlier. Moves his way over to the right-hand side. Was initially the outside for the exit of turn 5, but turns into the inside now for the kink to the right. But
Michael's not giving up. That's great.
Brilliant defending there, late on the brakes, but again the switchback leaves him vulnerable, and that's Marcel Neve back up into 6th position.
Michael's not going to give up.
I don't think Michael can do the same here at turn 9 as Getrag makes his way past Michael. But again, these 3 will continue to battle all the way around to
Michael's lost the car
again, but Michael actually caught the car. Luckily, he's lost out a few positions. He might tuck in just behind TJ now, as TJ and Pekka Koivunen have a little bit of a moment. You can see Michael's car just a little bit unsettled, trying to rejoin again. The transition from the track there to the flat apron is quite significant, and of course the suspension travel on these cars is not a lot, so you can see at least 2 wheels off the ground there as Michael tried to get back up onto the racing line. But 3 wide now into the braking zone for turn number 2, and there's contact. Luckily, Michael got the car a bit sideways into the side of Pekka Koivunen. Pekka Koivunen lost out to TJ, but Mandula and Lacunas just up ahead with William Lima getting involved. All seem to be again battling over what looks to be 8th position.
Here comes Lacunas past Mandula into Parabolica. That 3 wide with Michael, that was brave and didn't end up working out. But there we go, up to P8 now for Lacunas, his main rival. Neve 2 places ahead. He's got Getrag in the way, and that's a big gap to overcome. Let's see how he manages. Mandula thinking about it.
Yeah, well, he had the run, he had the overspeed, but again, by the time he'd pulled out to the left-hand side and thought he'd braked, or at least tried to outbrake Lacunas, Lacunas just braked that, well, about half a car length a bit further down the road and retains 8th position, as William Lima's right all over the back of Mandula now as we round turn 10 for the 6th time here. But again, same position up front. Don't think Adam's going to catch Roney at this rate. At least last time around, Roney was about 7/10 a second faster than Adam, and the gap's gone back up to 1.28 seconds. So all the action's still within the midfield. But Marcel Neve now up to P number 6 and sets the fastest lap of the race for good measure.
Yeah, Jaban held that for quite a while. Jaban P3. I wonder if he'll catch up to Adam and Roni. Roni and Adam, both very talented drivers in their own right, but can Jaban close that down? And
Well, I believe if he carries on lapping at the pace he is, and of course the leaders lapping at the pace they are, we do have enough time for that 4-second gap from third to second to come down. Last time around, your race leader Roni with a 129.23, Adam again about 7 tenths down with a 130.08, but Jaban in third position a 1 minute 28.97. It's not quite the same pace that Marcel Niever's got, but Jaban again has track position by a couple seconds, and at the moment is in some nice clean air to bring that gap down. It's already down about 8 tenths as Jaban sets a purple sector 2, almost a second faster than TC Racing's Adam in second position. That gap might be less than 3 seconds when we get to the start finish line, but I think Adam's at the moment, looking at his tyres, struggling with the right rear in terms of surface temperature. Only the right rear, not the right left. So whether he's getting on the curb and maybe, depending on his differential settings, spinning the inside wheel, trying to get on the power, he needs to just take his time and let his tyres equal out in terms of surface temperature, try and manage that rear, because the more he's going to get on the power and get on these curbs, the worse it's going to be for the TC Racing driver.
6 laps to go for the car number 3 in third place, Jaban for Team Racing, to try and close down on Adam. It's important for the championship, this, especially considering Gavin Peat, his teammate and championship rival, is in P6 right now. So when you start getting down into these last couple of rounds of the season, this is when getting marginal gains over your opponents is really, really, really important. And Jaban will want to get further onto that podium if he can. You can see both of these rivals ahead.
I'm going to say 2 more bits of information, little bits of snippets of information here. Jaban last time around, purple in Sector 2 and Sector 3. And not a race best, but a personal best lap time, which means he's closed the gap to TC Racing's Adam. And it's now under 3 seconds and is about 4.5 seconds to the race lead. But Marcel Niever, again in 5th position, is closing up to the back of Yoni Gatia as he clouts the wall on the exit of turn 10. But again, Marcel Niever, last time around, personal best and race best Sector 1 and fastest lap for good measure, but just doesn't seem to have at least the pace that Jaban has in the middle sector. So whether there's a potential trim difference in terms of how much wing these guys are running, Marcel Niever seems to be nice and slippery on the straights, and maybe is one of the fastest cars on the grid in terms of top speed. But Jaban maybe is got his race setup tailored a little bit more for the downforce corners, the loaded up high speed sweeping corners that we have here at Kyoto National. But yeah, I can't help but notice Marcel Niever right on the back of Yoni Katia now. Jaban needs to catch up to our leading pair, as the gap is about, again, the same 2.8 seconds, the same as it was last time around. He was a couple tenths faster than Adam, but again, Adam is hopefully somewhat responding to his tyres, and yeah, that gap to Ronnie from P2, where Adam currently sits, is down to just under 1.5 seconds now.
You were talking about potential. I can see some potential on the screen right now. There's an advertising bit of potential there for world-class lines if anyone's interested. The rear wing of that car very, very empty, but here comes Niever.
He only needs to, well, arguably have the best exit possible out of the final corner, but not necessarily fight Marcel Niever down the straight. If Marcel Niever can get past in that 9:05 Energy Virtual Racing Formula V8, there's plenty of time for Yoni Katia to not fight it, let it happen, and just tuck straight back into that slipstream and have another crack at it. We could see probably a maximum of at least 2 or 3 overtakes over the course of turn 11 to turn 2 as we navigate round turn 1. Yoni Katia again all over the back of Marcel Niever. Is he going to time his run? Moves over to the left hand side, choosing not to jump into the slipstream on the run down into turn number 2. He only looks as though he's conceded the position. He will retain P5 as Marcel Niever jumps up and is again arguably in a prime position to catch up to Jaban, who again
3 laps left.
Is in 3rd position. But Marcel Niever last time around was 0.8 of a second faster than Jaban, of course, aided at least where it mattered by the draft of Yoni Katia. He set a 1 minute 28.03. At the moment, Marcel Niever, pole position, won race number 1, And with lap 10 to be completed and 3 more of race number 2, sits in a very good position to at least pick a podium up. But yeah, fastest lap so far in this race with I was going to say sector 1 and 3 to make up for it, but again, he's on an absolute charge as the man in 4th position because he's set the fastest sector 2 whilst I was mid-sentence. So
You
again,
can catch
Marcel
Adam
Nieber
here.
holds all 3 fastest sectors, and again the fastest lap. Yeah, the gap to Japan looks to be around about 1 second at the moment, and then it's about 1.5 to TC Racing's Adam. And Marcel Nieber across the line, and 1 minute 28.15, just a tenth down on what he set last time around, but a tenth and a half faster than Japan's personal best that he's just set. So the gap under a second now, and Japan to Adam again under a second. So Marcel Nieber 2 seconds away from second position, 4 seconds away from the race lead, with 2 3/4 laps remaining, Pete.
Exciting stuff. I think Japan's going to lose out on a podium here. That's for definite if Nieber can get past him cleanly. But what about Adam?
With that being said, Japan looks to at least have the pace to take it to Adam. Adam last time around a 1 minute 29.48 and Japan a 1 minute 28.3, so 1.1 seconds faster was the Team Rat Racing driver than TC Racing's Adam, who currently sits in second place. So my predictions for this race is Roni first, Marcel Nieber second, Japan third, and maybe Adam in P number 4. Don't think Yoni Katia is in a position to catch Adam. I think Yoni's about 2.8 seconds back on P2. So
I think you're very ambitious thinking that Nieber's going to catch Adam in 2 laps.
Of course he can. Of course he can. Watch
okay.
it. Watch it. I'm telling you.
We are watching. I'd love to be proved wrong, but that is a stretch. Nieber. There he goes. That's 1. Now it just depends if Japan's going to make his life difficult and try and just delay him.
Well, these two are, by doing what they're doing at the moment, as Japan checks up a little bit, gets off the throttle to try and attack again, moves over to the left-hand side. You can see Adam's very much within striking distance now.
Yeah, but Japan's got ahead, so this is just slowing them down again.
Yeah, but they're both catching up Adam at the moment. Marcel Nieber again, fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 27.85. This is qualifying pace from the man in 4th position, but Japan's making his car as wide as possible as we enter turn 5 for the 12th and penultimate time here. And this is all to play for Marcel Nieber. Even though he won race number 1 and took pole position, so plenty of points for him. Not only wants that podium, but still, I think, sits in a decent position to take second place if he can just get around Japan. But we'll see how these two fare for the remaining 1 1/4 laps that we have here at Kyoto National.
I'm going to go with a solid nope on the Marcel Nieber in second place by the end of the race prophecy. But I think the podium's still on for Nieber. He's got one more big opportunity to try and seal the deal, and that's into turn 1. But look at that exit that Japan just got. I think he might struggle here. That was a great exit from Japan. I don't think Marcel's in.
Nah, Marcel Nieber's going to be all over the back of him come the braking zone for turn 2. Just watch. Marcel Nieber doesn't seem to be tucking into the slipstream the way I thought he would, but again, I think he's definitely going to be somewhat closer to Japan. But again, even though those two completely battled, they're still faster than Adam last time around.
Roni out in the lead, that's pretty secure unless he drops the car. I think he's pretty safe. He just needs to guide it around a few more corners. It definitely has bunched up, Jack, but Adam is doing everything that he needs to do right now to keep that P2. Let's see what Japan has to say for Nieber's attack here. Again, doing everything he needs to do to stay out of the slipstream. Only a couple of corners to go. I think it's going to come down to the final straight, Jack, between these 3.
Yeah, Marcel, it's over for Marcel Nieber. Yeah, just a little bit too ambitious on the curb on the inside of turn 8, but it's not over for the battle for second position. Japan, with a decent exit out of turn 10, can take second position away from TC Racing's Adam.
Adam got a decent exit, but it won't be enough. I think Japan will will creep back. But anyway, let's turn our attention to the front. We can see how that battle unfolds in a moment, because Race Green's Roni will take the win in race number 2 from the start. Adam retains P2, then it's Jaban in P3, and Marcel Neva has to settle for P4 in race number 2, but does take the fastest lap, so that's good. Side by side there, that was good trag. And who was that next to him? That was William Lima. Yoni Katilla in P5, Lagutskas for Yes Motorsports in P6, Lima and Gatrag P7 and 8. Then it's TJ for Road Appraiser, so what was it, 9 or 10 in race 1, and P9 again in race 2. Trespasser, maybe not the result he was hoping for, but nevertheless a good P10. Then it's Phantom in P11. Gavin Peat, the championship leader, in P12. So yeah, not a great outing for Gavin Peat today. Araujo P13, Mandula P14, Abe for Born to Race P15. Then the World Class Lions duo of Timu Soini and Pekka Koivunen in P16 and 17. Master Race Cars Michael in P18. Then it's Teamwork Racing's Texas in P19. Not sure if we're waiting for anyone else. Is anyone else still out on track, Jack?
No,
Looks
I think
like
all 19 classified finishers have crossed the line.
Yari Katsuna, P20. There we go. I think that's everybody. Alrighty. Well, that was exciting, to say the very least.
Ooh, not the ending that I expected. I think if Marcel Neva would have been able to get past Jaban and stay there, he would have had the pace to take it to Adam. But yeah, he should still be happy with the dominant performance that he's put on today. Of course, taking pole position in race number 1, for race number 1, leading every lap and taking the checkered flag of race number 1 and the fastest lap in both races, and finishes just off the podium in 4th position at the end of race number 2.
Looks like Adam and Roni are having a fight on the track, so we'll cut away from that. Yeah, a really cool race 2. A little bit of scrap at the beginning, but overall a very clean race 2. I think it could have gone a whole lot worse with the FO8 and a reverse grid, but well done for everyone for putting on a spectacular second race there. And congrats to the podium. Marcel Neva not quite able to get the podium in the end. I think it was that little bit of wheel spin, Jack, in the final, just in the middle sector. That
Yeah, I mean, even if he
that.
had been closer than he had been, we saw how close at least Jaban and Adam were through turn 10, and Jaban just couldn't benefit enough from the slipstream to get the position at the line. So again, it would have been a struggle for Marcel Neva, but just saw it all came undone at the apex of turn 8 on that very final lap. But yeah, I think race 2 was as clean as it could have been. We saw a lot of cars off in turn number 2, but of course that's on the opening laps when the cars are arguably as densely, condensed on the grid as they would be on the very opening lap of race number 2, with the faster guys at the back and the slightly slower guys towards the front of the grid. But yeah, no, brilliant racing.
Absolutely fantastic racing. And speaking of fantastic racing, we are back same time next week for round 36 of the Teamwork Racing 2020 Championship. That'll be from a custom configuration at West Hill. In fact, I think it's the configuration that uses the other end of West Hill from W1, which will be fascinating, I think. And that's going to be in the UF1. 14 minutes of qualifying and 2 10-lap races. So if you fancy some custom configuration racing, you can join us in the TRR Championship next Tuesday from 7 o'clock UTC.
Ooh, that tickles my fancy. UF1
well, there
custom
you go.
config.
Maybe you can
might even sign myself
your,
up if I can get myself a bit of a replacement in the comms box for next week.
Don't leave me. But yeah, it might be fun for you to dust off your LFS driving shoes. Adam, yeah, he's dabbled in a bit of commentary this season, but also obviously a regular participant in the TRR Championship, doing rounds that he likes to do. So yeah, why not, Jack?
I don't want to get embarrassed. I can't drive on Live for Speed. The only sim I've ever been somewhat competent at is Eyre.
Speaking of other races that people can get involved in a couple of weeks' time, we have the return of the New Dimension Racing TBO Challenge. Sign-ups are open now for this series. It will begin on Sunday, the 11th of October at 3 o'clock in the afternoon if you're in the UTC.
Well, in the UK. Well, UTC
UK,
plus one. Yeah, 2 p.m. UTC. New Dimension Racing's TBO Challenge. Round 1 kicks off at Kyoto National with the chicane and, of course, the TBOs. But if yeah, if the TBO Challenge or Team Rock Racing Championship don't tickle your fancy, we're live on Sunday, the 4th of October at 6 p.m. UTC for round number 9 of the Bagheera Zero Mileage GT Cup from Kyoto GP Long in the XRR. So, pretty densely packed calendar somewhat for the near future. Exciting. Can't wait for the TBO Challenge to get back underway. Some touring car racing again with the Success Ballast as well. So yeah, alongside balance of performance, which you'd see in even though the TBOs are all the same, you find that
Yeah, very much a touring car series. So it's great to have that actually in an LFS series again, balance of performance as well as success ballast from week to week.
So the leaders at the top will have
Yeah.
to carry an extra couple kilograms round for the rest of the races until positions switch, and the new leaders can carry the success ballast. But we'll see if anybody can actually win a race and be up there if they've got an extra 25 kilograms on board at least somewhere. Don't know if they get to choose where the weight's placed.
I think so. Yeah. I don't think the actual weights have been actually finalised for each round yet. But,
No, I think maybe they're going to change per track.
Yeah, makes sense.
But we will see. Of course, trying to make everything as fair as possible.
Alrighty. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Please feel free to follow and subscribe to us on Twitch. All of our broadcasts will be posted on YouTube after every round. We really appreciate you sticking around to listen to us ramble on about the racing action in Lipper Speed. We hope to see you here again next week for round 36 of the Team Up Racing 2020 Championship from West Hill, a custom configuration with the UF1. I've been Peter Butcher. I've been joined by Jack Eyre. We are Sim Broadcasts. We loved having you here. Have a great week. Good night.